United Arab Emirates has pledged to invest $10 billion in the Turkish economy as the two countries look to boost economic cooperation. The development follows a meeting between Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan in Ankara this week. Mobin Nasser reports.
Visiting Turkey for the first time in nearly a decade, the de facto ruler of the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan met Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Ankara. Relations between Turkey and the UAE had declined due to major political differences, but analysts say both sides now see the economic benefits of normalizing ties.
It is costly for United Arab Emirates, to struggle against Turkey in Libya. And both countries in the region now, I think, perceive the regional development from a very positive way. There is an ongoing de-escalation process, not only between Turkey and United Arab Emirates, but also between other countries. There are also pull factors that both countries can increase their economic relations. United Arab Emirates is trying to relocate itself as an economic power, which ultimately influences its diplomatic engagements.
The countries are resetting their relationship with a significant increase in the UAE's investments in Turkey.
The United Arab Emirates announces the establishment of a $10 billion fund to support investments in Turkey.
Part of this money will be used to establish a technology-oriented fund to invest in Turkish startups. Abu Dhabi Ports had also signed a deal to provide logistical support, and the country has pledged to boost investments in Turkish energy, infrastructure and healthcare companies.
From our engagements with our various Turkish counterparts and partners, it has become very evident and very clear that we share a similar outlook and agree on a range of topics that are strategically important to both of us. It is in fact our common interests, genuine commitment, and shared vision for peace, stability, and true prosperity, not just for us, but for the broader region.
Ankara and Abu Dhabi also plan to work together to crack down on money laundering and terror financing. While political differences remain, officials are hoping that economic cooperation can help the two countries turn a new leaf. Mobin Nasser, TRT World.
Taha Meli Arvas is an adjunct professor of finance at Bogazici University here in Istanbul. Taha, thank you very much for being with us today. There seems to have been a very significant turning point in relations between the UAE and Turkey, which is also expected to have positive spillover effects on the entirety of the region. How confident are we, though, that good relations will continue?
I think this is the real deal. I think we're going to see this new phase between Turkey-UAE relations last into the foreseeable future. We're in a new world, obviously, when these tensions first began versus where we are now. In the previous segments, you talked about the potential for the coronavirus pandemic to spread much more rapidly. This means continued economic uncertainty, both for Turkey and the UAE. And in times of uncertainty, it's good to come to the table and come back to previous agreements. And as the minister said in the piece, true prosperity for all should be the goal here. And I think both countries realize that, and they're moving towards that now.
Right. Both sides are obviously eager for a win-win economic relationship. But first of all, what does each side stand to benefit the most from?
Right. Well, Turkey is, as you know, a very fast-growing major economic powerhouse in the region. And it has a constant need for investment. It's an energy importer, as you know. This makes its current account deficit a problem often for Turkey. So the more investments it gets, the better, obviously. And it's in a time where Turkey is a very growing entrepreneurial hub, frankly. All these companies we talked about, you may have seen, that are expanding globally. A lot of these companies, these tech companies, have roots in Turkey, and the UAE has already invested in these companies, including the ones you mentioned, and other countries such as China and the United States and across Europe are investing in these Turkish companies. So investment is one thing that Turkey is looking forward to. As far as the UAE goes, it's an opportunity, obviously, for the UAE to diversify its portfolio. The vast majority of their current assets are linked to petrochemicals, to hydrocarbons, and so we're in a world that if as the virologists in the previous segments predict that if the coronavirus continues, if it comes back stronger than before, if we get a fifth wave globally, then the value of these assets will be very much depreciated. So it's an opportunity for the UAE to diversify. It's an opportunity for Turkey to get new investment. But more generally speaking, it's just an opportunity for both countries to get rid of one area of uncertainty for both countries. So that's, I think, the good side for both countries here.
The economic deals focused, among other things, on the technology and healthcare sectors in Turkey. We also know that the UAE Sovereign Wealth Fund has already invested in some Turkish apps, such as Getir and Trendyol in the past. And they actually have enjoyed very high growth in recent years when compared to their competitors. Why do technology startups and healthcare companies have such an edge in Turkey? Can you explain?
I think, like in the previous answer, it's because Turkey has become this hub for entrepreneurial growth. Eastern Europe, North Africa, the Middle East, the former Soviet republics are all the talent from these areas are coming to Turkey. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to do business, and investments in these sectors are critical because there's a young population. Human resources exist in Turkey that allow for these type of investments to take hold, for these type of companies to burgeon, really. And so this is the edge that Turkey has. And I think the UAE and other countries realize this, and that's why they're investing in Turkey. So this makes them different from other potential areas to attract investment from.
Right, Taha, last question on Saudi Arabia. How much was this renewed will to have good relations in the region actually spurred by the Saudis' efforts to open up their economy? Saudi Arabia seems to be wanting to establish itself as the Middle Eastern base for multinational firms.
Right. I think the pandemic has spurred the same type of approach across the board for a lot of countries, including Saudi Arabia. So is the UAE necessarily competing with Saudi Arabia? Perhaps, but I think it's more than that. I think both countries realize, along with other Gulf countries, that now is the time to diversify. And this is what they're doing. I think that having poor relations with any neighbor is bad for the economy and for nations in general. So I think all of these countries are trying to bury the hatchet, if you will, and come back to good relations with their neighbors.
Taha Arvas, many thanks.